Hey, it's Tree and I back for another video. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about my Project Ophelia stuff because as you can see in this video, I've redesigned her again. Well, technically for the first time, so kind of consider this an update because the last time I showed footage of me drawing Ophelia, she looked completely different now, and now she looks different. And I guess I just wanted to talk about why I redesign my characters sometimes. So, the first reason I will redesign a character that I've been drawing for who knows how long. In the case of Harper, it was from 2017 to, I don't know, 2019 before I redesigned her, maybe 2020. But the first reason is because I'll be drawing them and then I realize I don't like the way that they look anymore. I'll be trying to draw what they look like and then I very quickly become frustrated because they don't look how I'm imagining them anymore. Or I just don't like the way that I drew them in that particular instance, and I've been trying to draw them several times at that point, and I just don't like how they look. For Ophelia, it was a bit of that, but also another reason I'll redesign the characters is because I'll be working on them, and then, like, story-wise, I'll be working on them, and I realized that I picture them completely different to how they look. Which is exactly what happened with Project Ophelia. I realized that I was picturing her differently, and when I was trying to write about her, and I'd look at the art that I had of her, I would kind of get lost in the process because the pictures and they wouldn't line up, and it was confusing for my brain. Another thing that I'll do when I redesign characters is just the fact that, like, I will have a certain way of drawing years and years ago, which is in the case of Annie, and I'd be looking at their designs from today's standpoint, and I'd look at them and I'd think that their hair doesn't make sense, and it would hurt my brain thinking about how their hair actually worked. So then I'd redesign them so that way their hair would make sense to me. Like, Annie, she had these weird curls. Like, she had her normal bangs that I do now, but at the same time she'd have like this extra big curl, and I didn't know where that curl came from, and I just didn't know how it worked, and it was confusing my brain. I don't like it when my brain is confused, I guess. So from there, I would kind of try and think about how I picture them, and then go from, like, the very basic details. Like, for Ophelia, she has blonde hair and blue eyes, so I would definitely keep that in mind, but I kind of changed the tone of blonde. I guess I consider her original blonde, more platinum-ish. And then her newer design, it's kind of a bit like a darker blonde. Like, her original was almost platinum blonde, but this one is like a golden color. Because I don't really mind changing colors around, because I did stop picturing her with the platinum. But the blue eyes didn't change. I think I just made them a bit darker in this case. But I don't really have a reason for why I made her colors a bit darker. Another thing with her story is that, like, I'm trying to sort out the story beats, and I haven't worked on it in a long time, because I kind of want to figure out where I want the story to go from here. And I was realizing that, like, some of the plot elements in the last draft, I didn't really like them. And I could tell that I wasn't really, I hadn't really developed the villain that much. And I didn't really like that. Because I was inserting so much, like, context and stuff I'd basically be going back and forth writing. That was getting on my nerves very quickly. Because if I'm going to be writing about a villain, I'd like them to be more involved with the story. And I think the reason why I specifically haven't been writing that much on this project again is because I can't picture what the villain looks like just yet. And so that frustrates my brain because I don't know how I want her to look like. Because the villain's another woman. But also, I need to decide, like, where I want the villain's story to end at. Because you can either have, like, the villain be redeemed, or you can go to the dark end. And I'm just not sure where I want to take Project Ophelia with that. But I'm definitely seeing a common theme of, like, why I stop working on projects. It's either it becomes hard, or I can't picture things in my brain and it makes my brain upset. Because I definitely consider myself a person that, like, pictures things when they write, and I can, like, picture things very vividly, and if those things don't align, it makes my brain upset. Like, I noticed very early on as a kid that I had a picture memory, so I could picture, like, what my teacher was wearing on a certain day, things like that. So when I think about writing, I definitely come at it from the perspective of, like, having pictures with it. I definitely don't consider myself somebody with, like, aphantasia. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you can, it's like a sliding scale of how much you can picture in your mind. Like, some people, they don't picture anything in their mind, and that confuses me. Like, if you ask them to picture an apple, they don't see anything. But for me, I can see pretty vividly if I picture an apple. But then there are some people that can maybe picture a little bit of the apple. So it's definitely a scale, and I'd consider myself somebody that has a very vivid picture mind. And when I'm learning about things, it's definitely easier when I can put a picture to it. So I think that's maybe why I excel in things like history and English. But meanwhile, I struggle with math because there's nothing really to picture when you do math. So, yeah, that was a very long ramble, but a lot of my redesign decisions come down to how I picture things in my brain. I think I also might have subconsciously made her colors darker because I want the story to go in a darker direction. But I don't know, I'm just very flip-floppy with the story right now. And I definitely need to do more design work in my free time. But I did a couple of different designs for Ophelia before I settled on this one. So when it came down to redesigning Ophelia, I was taking some of the basic concepts for her, like having straight bangs, and then maybe a bit of a wavy, like backside of her hair. But I quickly realized that I wasn't liking how that looked. And I kind of pick out details that I enjoy drawing, but maybe didn't draw the way I wanted it to look. So I'll hash those out until I'm satisfied. And I can kind of pick out a few things that I like and then expand upon them more. And that's definitely what happened for Ophelia. There was elements I liked about the very first one, like she had these long dangly bits, but I thought they were too long, so the next design I shortened them, and then I decided to play with how I wanted the curls to look. And there was stuff I liked about the curls and stuff I didn't like about the curls I was drawing, and eventually I just found a way that I wanted to draw them. And I do have certain patterns to the way I design new characters that I kind of fall into. Like, I like having dangly bits in front of the ears because I don't I don't really like characters that don't have anything there, if that makes sense. I basically just don't like drawing the sides of the face, so I usually cover them up. But I think that's all I can really talk about. I think that's everything about why I redesigned Ophelia. It's largely due to how I picture things. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Subscribe if you would like to listen to me ramble some more. Apparently I'm very rambly today. I apologize.